Hello everyone, welcome back to the Nulyweds channel, and this is our final installment of the Worldwide Planning Series, or maybe Planning Series Season 1, let's say. Maybe we'll bring this back next year, maybe we'll bring it later on in the year. I hope that you've enjoyed it so far. So our final series is with Tisha from TCJ Events, and we're talking about Trinidad and Tobago. I'm so excited about this episode. If you don't know, my mother's side is from Trinidad, so this is a really exciting episode for me. This is the second time that we've been to the Caribbean in this series, so do check out the link in the description for the episode on St. Martin after you've watched this one, just so that you can compare what the different vibes are in different islands of the Caribbean. But without further ado, let's dive into this conversation.
So I'm joined here by the lovely Tisha from TCJ Events to talk to us about our island, Trinidad and Tobago. Thank you so much for coming on to my channel.
No problem. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited.
I'm excited. This is so cool. Like, if anyone doesn't know, hasn't gathered, my mum's side is from Trinidad. So I'm super excited to have this conversation. I have never been to Trinidad and Tobago, which is the biggest sin of all. So we're going to learn a lot today. But before we jump in, tell us a bit more about your business, what you do, and why you love to do it.
I am an events planner who has been thrusted into the world of wedding planning. When I initially started, I was like, yeah, weddings, I don't know. Two cousins threw me in on the deep end. Like, you need to get our weddings together. I'm like, When I was done, I'm like, yeah, you need to have a passion and a love for this thing, because we know weddings are it's a labor of love. That's what I like to call it. But I really love it now that I have done quite a few because I love what the end result is. It's bringing two people together. It's celebration of love. It's bringing family together. It's bringing cultures together, especially with destination weddings. My couples are hardly ever from the same background, so we always have to find fun ways of merging the cultures together, bringing experiences. So that's what I try to go deep. I'm very, it's never just putting the glamour together. I like to do the meaning behind it, and that's why I really love it.
That's amazing. That sounds beautiful. It's a wonderful philosophy to bring to weddings. So we're talking about Trinidad and Tobago today, which, again, super excited, too excited. Tell us why you recommend getting married in Trinidad and Tobago as a destination wedding.
That's always a fun and very interesting question to answer. So if you don't know anything about Trinidad and Tobago, let me put on my tourism hat a little bit. We're two islands with two very distinct personalities. So Trinidad is the lively, bustly, party, vibes, energy island. And then Tobago is laid back, relaxed, lay on the beach. You know, everything is nobody's ever in a rush. Take your time, we're very chilled. So I think for couples, what has been the joy is coming, doing ceremonies in Trinidad, and then going to Tobago on honeymoons. Or for those who really want that idyllic, traditional Caribbean wedding, they get the best of both worlds in Tobago. So they get married in Tobago and then they stay back for honeymoon if they so wish, because the island is beautiful. So it gives you a lot of options if you're looking for a different energy for your wedding. We have in Trinidad, you can go sea facing, you can do traditional banquet inside, you can do outdoors if you love to be surrounded by greenery and nature. There are a lot of venues that can give you that option. So you have various options. And then Tobago, you can do your toes in the sand wedding and then still have, if you need to be cool, because of what happens a lot is that couples want to do the beach wedding, but then they want to do the reception in a cooler environment because, of course, they guess it's really hot, So you have that option in Tobago as well. So I think Trinidad and Tobago gives you the best of both worlds for whatever personality you're looking at, for whatever culture and energy and vibe that you're trying to get for your wedding. Yeah.
I love that, and it's so cool that there are very different vibes to the two islands. I didn't know that, and that's really
Yeah, and
interesting.
it's yeah, and just to put it in context, it's a 20-minute plane ride between the two islands, so it's very easy to go back and forth. Or if you fancy taking a ferry, it's 2 to 3 hours. So yeah, it's very easy to move between the islands.
Beautiful. That's so cool. It's nice to be able to combine the two vibes as well.
Yes.
Tell us about the landscape then. What are we trying to picture when we picture Trinidad and Tobago? Do they have different landscapes even?
It's more or less the same. Tobago gives you that more, it's more beachy. So getting to the beach is faster. You know, with Trinidad, you have to do a little longer drive, yeah. But both islands are gorgeous in their own regard, you know. So with Trinidad, it's more coastal. So you have the further points to go. So I've done weddings at one of our venues in Toco, and Toco is on the northeast. I hope I'm getting my geography correct. Um, and you know, it's literally overlooking the Caribbean seaside of it. Yeah. And then with Tobago, most times your ambience is either, as we said, on the beach or at a villa. And then most villas have a view of the ocean as well. You know, so it depends on what you're looking for. If you prefer to stay more inland and you don't necessarily need the ocean views or the beach views, Trinidad has the venues where you can be surrounded by nature. There are also venues where you have the best of both worlds. You are feeling like you're in the midst of the trees, but then you still have a view of the ocean. So the landscape is, I'll say it's pretty much what are you looking for? And that's why when I talk to my destination couples, I'm like, what are you looking for? What do you want? What do you want to be the backdrop for your wedding? And then we pick venues based on that.
Awesome. It's nice that you've got the variety to be able to have that landscape as well. It doesn't have to be all beach.
It doesn't,
It can be nice and green and bohemian if you want it to. I love that. Let's talk about food, because I have done one episode so far in the islands. We went to St. Martin, and we were talking a little bit about oxtail and things like this. That some folks are a bit like, what is that?
What is that?
So I think we should talk about food as people who love and cook and live Caribbean food. What can we expect from a traditional, well, maybe not traditional, but a Trinidadian wedding menu?
Oh, I'll say this, right? Most times when couples come here, sometimes it's because at least one of them has some kind of parentage, like you, right? So they're always like, Tisha, I want, so these are the must-haves. So yeah, the dinner is fine. We can pick that. You can get anything, but the street food is what they want incorporated into their wedding. So their doubles, the corn soup, the gyros. Those are the popular things that we typically do as late night snacks or just like the party foods, so that you can grab and go. But then on your sit down, let's eat with knife and fork menu, because our makeup of people is so diverse. You can go from Chinese to Indian to Creole. Like the sky is the limit there. So whatever you want to eat, it's probably going to be available because we have everybody here living here. So there are those who go with if you go Creole, you know, you have your normal rice and your peas and some kind of pie. But if you want to go real more African side, you have the provisions and the dumplings and the wild meats and that kind of thing. If you go Indian, because 50% of our population is Indian, so we are big on Indian cuisine. So you can do your curries. You can just do curry flavor, or you can go all out and have your roti with your basam shot.
Yeah.
And then, as I said, we have the Chinese, Arabian, like whatever you're looking for, the food options are available here. So, that's check that box. We can probably do it.
That's so good to know, and that's really good for people to understand that Trinidad and Tobago, it's very cosmopolitan. Like a huge
Yes.
population is Indian, and so there's a lot of that
Yes.
influence there.
Yes.
I only know how to make roti because I have a Trinidadian nana, and I can make roti at home, and that's just a normal part of life, of Trinidadian life. So so it's
buy
really,
the roti, I don't make it.
you don't make it, that's terrible. You must learn. It's really good fun, actually. Roti is really fun to make.
It is. That is
but-
actually a big thing here. Like if you want to come and do it as a tourist attraction, there are people that do it too. So yeah.
Oh really? You can learn how to
Yeah.
Oh cool. Yeah. Oh, I might do that. I might try that. So that would be fun. I can test my skills and tell me how I'm getting everything wrong. So great. I hope that everyone understands the food. It's not scary at all. You'll be able to taste a lot of the things that you'll be able to have at home as well, but keep your eyes open, keep your mind open, be open-minded to
keep your taste buds open. Yeah.
But those are the nice things about getting married in Trinidad and Tobago. What would you warn a couple? What are the not so great things about getting married there?
What my couple struggle with the most is probably making decisions because of options, and that's probably not what you expected to hear. Right? So that is one thing. With regard to just being on the island, there's a lot to do, and I think it's just coming. You want to be clear on what you want to have happen over the period of time, and moving around. I'll say our public transportation is not as efficient as other countries. So it's really important to have an idea of how you want to move and how you want your guests to move, because you may either require, if you don't have friends and family here, that we'll have to arrange transport for you so you can easily get from one point to the next. Or if you're moving a group, that if we have to create shuttles, because I guess if you're at a hotel, yes, you can just go to the front desk, ask for a taxi, it's cool. But we have adventurous people who want to, be out there and take the public transportation. And if you're one of those, it's always best to be guided as to what's the safest way to do that. So I'll say that it's good to have a planner or have someone that can just guide you as to what you will want to do, so that what's the safest option for you to be able to do it.
Absolutely. From what I remember being in I mean, not Trinidad specifically, but Antigua, where I remember being in, like, you can go to a bus stop, but there's no information. So unless you know someone who knows someone who knows when the bus is coming, you could be waiting a long time. It's things.
Whereas in other countries, you just walk outside, you know the bus is coming at 12:03 and it shows up at the end.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that's not a Caribbean thing. So, we have those taxi services, just how you have Uber, we have variations of it here. So that's probably what we will highly recommend, our ridees and all those other taxi services that we have here. Yeah.
Thank you for your honesty. But I'm going to throw out another one, which also leads into our next point. Let's talk about the weather.
Okay.
We're going to talk about the weather. Okay, so it's not like a monsoon season, but we do have a rainy season in the Caribbean. It's something that everyone needs to be aware of. So when are the best times to get married in Trinidad and Tobago, and when are the worst times?
I'll say this. We have 2 seasons. In simple terms, wet and dry, which just means really rainy and we don't have too much rain happening, right? But I always say we live on an island. So rain is possible even when we're supposed to be in the dry season. Yeah. So if you're planning a wedding, the traditional June into August is when most people are here. However, I've had clients come, you find that they want to come sometimes around one of our festivals or something that's happening here, so that they can have an experience for their guests outside of the wedding. So I've had clients come for carnival because they were jumping either before the wedding or right after the wedding.
Which is February, right?
Yeah, so whether, yes, correct, February, March, depending on how Lent falls. So the best time, honestly, is whenever you can come. Because if your wedding is outdoor, we're always going to have a contingency for rain. Because even if we're dry season, God decides to send us some blessings, we're going to have to deal with that. There's a particular venue that I feel like every time we go, the rain always falls between 12 and 2 p.m. and then the sun comes out after because of where it is, So because we're on an island, we're surrounded by water, what we learn in geography, water goes up, clouds go over land, rain falls. I feel like that can happen at any time of the year. So we are open 12 months of the year for it pretty close to sunny weather, but of course rainy season is when you have a higher chance of having rain falling.
And to be fair, like, it's a very humid climate, and when it does rain, it's really refreshing. It's very nice.
Yeah.
It feels it's still quite warm. It's not cold and windy and stuff. It's quite long, slow, refreshing rain. It feels like it's just washing everything away. So it's not great
not
that it rains.
Thunderstorm, lightning, unless we have some kind of weather thing happening. But
exactly. So it is quite nice rain, if that makes sense to anyone. So I'm gonna give you a scenario. No one likes answering this question, but let's say that I'm coming home to the island to get married, and I'm marrying someone from Cameroon today. That's who we're marrying. So I'm coming over. I'm getting married in Trinidad, and I have about 50 guests that are also coming over with us. Discarding accommodation. So that's a different budget, but discarding accommodation just for the wedding, how much do you think we should budget for about 50 guests? I told you no one likes answering this question, but it must be.
And I can tell you why no one likes answering it, because so this is my caveat, and then I'll still give you some figures, right? My caveat is that the cost of weddings are strictly based on what you want to have happen. I've had a 50-person wedding cost more than an 80, 90-person wedding, because that bride was very particular and she loved the finer things and she wanted, So I'm very cautious about how I answer these cost questions, because then they say, but you told me. I'm like, but if I have to go based on what has happened so far, people most times budget anywhere from 25,000 US average. That's food, that's venue, photography, videography, planner, of course, transportation, flowers, decor, your marriage license, which I think we're going to talk about. So that can pretty much get you. And then even if you're saying your hotel accommodation as for the time period that you're here is not fully in that can probably get you like a 1 night, 2 night accommodation, depending on where you're staying.
No, that's great to know. And I know it's a difficult question to answer, and I know everyone needs to know, like, cost always depends on what you want. So let's stick with my Cameroonian. I don't even know if that's what I think it's Cameroonian. Anyway, let's stick with my Cameroonian. We want to register our marriage in Trinidad. We want to sign all the paperwork. How simple of a process is that? Do you recommend it?
It's fairly simple. You're required to be here, not including your day of travel, 3 days.
Okay, not bad.
You apply for a special marriage license at our legal office. That's $300 TT, which is roughly 25 US. They give you the marriage license. The marriage officiant will register the marriage after. And then you get a marriage certificate, which says that you legally married in Trinidad, and then that can be mailed to you. I've had it go out by registered mail to destination clients. So, of course, if they had family here, the family would have collected it. So, my maths is correct. Yeah, $300 TT.
Okay. All right. So seems fairly simple. And can you do the registration anywhere? Do you have to legally marry in a civil building, or is it the person that's registered, like the officiant that's the registered person?
Right. So you have to, and just to correct, so that maths is actually like 42 US. So let me correct that now, right? Yeah. So the person has to be a licensed marriage officer. So there are those, and most times I connect my clients to those. So there are persons who that's all they do. They are a marriage officer. So that has to be done by somebody who is authorized by the state to perform the legal ceremony, and it can be done anywhere. It doesn't matter. The beach, in your home, at the banquet center, any location.
Amazing.
It just has to be done. It just has to be done by. We have a time though, which was recently changed. So you have to have the ceremony done by 9 p.m.
Oh, okay. That's interesting.
Yeah.
You have a cutoff.
Yeah. So it used to be 6 p.m. and they recently changed it to 9. Yeah.
It's awesome that you can get married anywhere. That's fabulous.
Anywhere.
Gives you all of the options. So in that vein, let's talk about venues. I love talking about venues. Tell us a couple of your favorite venues on the island.
No particular order. North Deck, which I love because that one, it's like nestled in the trees. So if you're really into nature, it's a great ambiance, but it's also overlooking the ocean. So you still get that nice vibe. Depending on the weather, you might be blessed. And I say blessed because it's always a blessing when the mist is rising. So there are a couple weddings we did where the pictures are kind of foggy because we had mist happening because of, as I said, it's nestled in the trees. So when Mother Nature does her thing, mist happens if we have a bit of rainfall. What they've also recently done is build cabins, these gorgeous cabins. So it's like you're sleeping again in the tree. So you have the option of accommodation at this venue. So even if you're staying at a hotel, you can do the cabins for like the night before, so you don't have to rush up too much, and then the night after, so you can party late into the night and still have somewhere. So go rest your head, you literally walk out the door, walk into your cabin next door, and you're fine. So I like that, and it's great for smaller numbers because the venue is not too big. They're very eco-conscious, so the level that you play your music at, and they try to keep you in that vein. Anchorage is great for larger numbers, so I'm giving you options here. Then there is Waterville Estate. Waterville is lush greenery, so you want to be outdoors. You don't necessarily care for having the ocean, that beach look, not really beach, but the ocean overlooking Waterville is gorgeous. It's just open green space that you can convert into anything. You can tent it, you can dance with Mother Nature and keep your fingers crossed that the rain is not going to fall, and have a totally open air, ceremony into reception. I had a local client, but it kind of made me think. She found the most untraditional, never heard of spot to have her ceremony at Waterville. And even the owner was like, this is crazy, but we're all here for it. They literally had to go cut down bushes and clear area near a stream because she had a vision in her head, so it's great. It's a blank canvas. You can turn it into anything you pretty much want to turn it into. I'm looking forward to doing an African theme wedding there if COVID would allow us. To be great. That couple is coming in from the US. So as I said, it's a blank canvas. We can do whatever there. And then of course I have to give Tobago some love. So Pigeon Point in Tobago. That gives you the combination of sand in your toes wedding, if you would like, literally getting married on the beach with the beach as your backdrop, the famous Pigeon Point jetty, and then you can have cocktail area on the grass, or you can go into the pavilion. So the pavilion is an enclosed building, hall, if you want to call it that, literally on the beach as well. So you have that indoor-outdoor feeling getting married in Tobago at Pigeon Point. Why I love there, because it gives you, as I said, the options as well. They also have a bungalow nearby where you can use for dressing. So if the bride wants to be closer, or even most times the men may use it because they require a little less. And again, depending on the size of your wedding party, but they also have that accommodation available. Fantastic, gorgeous options for taking your pictures. I love to see couples running outside to catch the sunset, to get sunset pictures on the beach. So again, that gives you the ultimate Caribbean vibe. Getting married at Pigeon Point, Tobago on the beach. So, yeah.
Incredible. No, we're going to leave links to those all in the description box down below, and some photos on the site, so I hope that people find that helpful. And if you want more venues, so you can get in touch with Tisha. Thank you so much for coming onto my channel. This has been such a fun conversation. If people want to get in contact with you to get married in Trinidad or Tobago, how can they do that?
I am on Instagram at TCJ Events. My DMs are always open, so feel free to just send me a message there. I'm on Facebook as well, TCJ Events. My website, www.tcjmanagement.com, that has pictures of weddings we would have done, our packages, my prices are there. I'm very transparent with that. Especially my destination couples always say, I love that you have everything just laid out there for us. So all of that is there. And as I said, some of the venues that I mentioned, we do have pictures on our site, but I'll also give you as well. By phone, 868-761-0039. That has WhatsApp. So if you send a WhatsApp, I am the one that answers. And last but not least, email, events, events at tcjmanagement.com.
Perfect. So we'll leave all of those links pinned to the top comment and in the description box down below. But I will love you and leave you for now. Thank you so much for coming on again and again.
If anyone's having me
interested in the Caribbean, then you have a wonderful, lovely planner to contact here today. Lovely to leave you for now. Take care.
Thank you, Olivia.
Bye.